Whenever you're ready.
Hi, I'm here to talk today about freediving, teach you a little bit about techniques, some records, most importantly safety, and why we go out and do it. So I'd like to start off, what is freediving? Freediving is basically going to be going underwater, seeing how deep you can go, or how long you can hold your breath, all under just one breath of air. No extra equipment, as simple as that, very natural. I began freediving a while ago. I don't remember my first dive, but I remember when I became addicted to it. I was out at a cave located in the shallow water flats at Howard Park. We'd always heard rumors about it, and one day we found it. So me and my buddy strapped on masks and swam down. I swam down and down, deeper and deeper, through what seemed to be a million mangrove snapper. As the cave walls started to close in around me and it got dark, eventually all I could see was the faint sun up through the high water column above me. I made my way to the surface, that first breath of air after the dive. I felt like I had cheated death. I felt invincible. I felt accomplished. My heart was pumping, and the adrenaline was flowing through my veins. Right then and there, I knew that freediving would be something I would pursue. Since that day, I've dove to 120 feet and regularly spearfish around 75 feet with bottom times around 2 minutes. To do these things, I've had to develop many techniques. First off, the most important is training. Your body has to be ready, and you also have to be mentally capable of handling the stress associated with freediving. If you panic at depth, you will die. Once you're in the water, the first thing is breathing up. You're going to take deep, long, strong breaths to try to get as much oxygen in your body as possible. This is called packing. For a long dive, you'll be there longer, taking more oxygen in and relaxing. Once you go under the water, streamlining is completely vital. You have to be as efficient as possible and attempt to conserve oxygen. Never look at where you're going. You just keep your head straight down. Sometimes I'll even close my eyes. The free fall is extremely important. Once you get to about 30 feet, the pressure will compress your body, causing you to be negatively buoyant. You will begin to sink. At this point, you do not move. You just sit there and sink. Once you hit the bottom, you can come back to life. But at that point, you're saving every little bit of oxygen you have. The very most important thing is extremely critical is relaxation. When doing this, you must be completely relaxed. The faster your heart is beating, the less time you'll have underwater. I try to slow my heart rate down to as low as possible. Some professional freedivers claim they can get their heart rate below 10 beats per minute during a deep dive. Even thinking is going to be using oxygen. The more your brain is working, the less time you have underwater. You want to shut everything out. You want to be 100% focused on the dive at hand and move as little as possible. To give you an idea of how far people are taking this, I'd like to tell you about some of the current world records for the freediving. For constant weight with fins, which is essentially strapping a weight belt on, taking fins in a mask, and swimming down as deep as you can, Herbert Nish currently holds the record at 406 feet. For constant weight without fins, which is the same minus the fins, William Trubridge has gone to 331 feet. Variable weight, allowing the diver to drop their weight to the bottom of the dive, increasing their ascent, is currently at 465 feet, held by Herbert Nish. And static apnea, just holding your breath underwater, is currently held by Ricardo Baja at 20 minutes and 21 seconds. Now, of course, doing this is extremely dangerous, the main reason being blacking out. Blackouts happen when you don't have enough oxygen in your brain to keep yourself conscious. And losing consciousness underwater will most of the time result in drowning. So, how do blackouts happen? Well, the danger zone is the top 15 feet of the water column. At this point, the pressure will dramatically decrease as you ascend, causing the oxygen and blood to leave your brain and go to the rest of your body. At this point, a lot of times the amount of oxygen in your brain will get low enough to where you'll go unconscious if you have pushed yourself too far. I personally have two buddies who have experienced a blackout, and they had two very different results in their stories. The first was Joshua Choi. He was diving in the Keys, spearfishing at about 75 feet of depth, and he blacked out and his buddy did not see it happen. They did not recover his body for about 3 days, and no one really knows the details of the incident. The other is Steve Bennett. Steve Bennett was hunting in 150 feet of water with a world-class spearfisherman, Cameron Kirkconnell, when they spotted a Cubera snapper in the 100-pound class about 75 feet down the water column. They rigged up Kirkconnell's shaft to a fishing pole on the boat and swam down, at which point Kirkconnell was lining up a shot. He noticed something floating in the water. It was Steve's gun. Steve was upside down, convulsing and sinking. So Kirkconnell did what he had to do, dished his weight belts and swam full speed towards Steve. But he couldn't make it to him. The current was too strong. He took aim, pulled the trigger, and shot Steve right in the fin, returning to the surface and telling the people on the boat that Steve had drowned and he was on the end of the line. By the time they got Steve in the boat, he'd been underwater for 5 minutes. He was bleeding from his eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. He had no breathing going on at all, was completely unconscious, and a very, very slow heart rate. He would wake up in the hospital 4 days later and be completely fine. The difference of these two incidents is that proper bloody procedure was used when Steve was in the water, and he was able to be recovered. That's why when freediving, we always have the one up, one down philosophy. One diver is watching the other throughout their entire dive from the surface, and always watching them in the danger zone, the top 15 feet, and for an extended period of time after they surface, because blackouts can happen even after you're breathing on the surface. So why? Why do we do it? Why do we risk our life? Well, for me, it's about adventure. You never know what you're going to see. You can drop down on a tiger shark, a sea turtle, a great fish you want to shoot, a wreck. It's also about exploration. It's about taking yourself to places that no one's been. It's about taking yourself to places you've never been and seeing something new. And it's always beautiful to go down there. When you're freediving, you're part of the marine environment. You're not an intruder like a scuba diver. You're one with the ocean. It's also about focus or meditation, if you will. To me, I'm so focused when I'm down there that nothing else matters. I can't be worried about anything going on. You're 100% on the moment at hand, and that's a special feeling. And last, it's about pushing yourself. It's about going past what you believe you can do. When you're in the water, it's just you and the ocean, and the ocean doesn't really care about you. And when you can master yourself and master that liquid element and break your own records, it's a great feeling. That's why I did it. Thank you.